at the extended trading hours. So we can see here on the monthly, we're still cruising along, still one time framing higher. No big significant change yet. We closed up on Friday up at the high, still above this longer term balance. So I've been doing some writing on here. And, really, so the monthly remains kind of unchanged. And I understand, sometimes it's redundant. We look at the monthly every day and we're like, oh, nothing happened yesterday, so what's the point? Why do I need to look at it again? It's just a good habit to have, right? You always want to zoom out just to help you maintain perspective. And, think about how many times have you looked at something or done something that you've done a million times, and sometimes you find a better way. That's how all better ways of things are found, right? That's why, with the profile, even there's always nuances to the profile that you can find that can be a new way that weren't necessarily in the study guide that Peter Stoudemire made back in the 80s, right? There's always an evolution of knowledge, a new way to look at things. Something I always say is, if you go into a conversation thinking that you can't learn anything, then you definitely won't learn anything. But just because the person that you are learning from or listening to you think you're smarter than, doesn't mean that you can't learn from them, right? It might be something to learn not to do. So there's always opportunity out there. You just have to remember to always have that open mind and maintain that, what do they call it? Mental plasticity, as my friend Andrew Hubbard says. So switching over to the weekly, see, last week we closed up +4 week, very bullish week, big break up above the balance. So now the key this week and coming into the end of this year, and like we talked about, a lot of times last Friday was the last day of the year for big traders. So we may see some movement in the market this week, because anyone with a couple bucks, and a couple bucks meaning a couple $100 million, can push the market around, because all the big fish with the billions and trillions of dollars are in Florida or in somewhere warm. They've left New York City, they've left Chicago, they're somewhere warm. So you can see some volatility. And so intra week, should the market hold below last week's close of 47.68, that may indicate that the market may catch some downside, right? Not that it's going to be sustained, but that it just may be a little bit weak. So something you definitely just want to be aware of is that weekly +4 close, 47.68 being that level, and a level that I'm going to carry forward into this week. Excuse me. Switching over here to the daily, you can see Friday was an inside day after we had that kind of anomaly day where we had a +4 day, but we had a close that was lower than the open. Like we've talked about, we've got them before. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. But today, the key being, I think, going to be that weekly close. The weekly close was pretty close to our equilibrium number. If you go back to the weekly close was 47.68. Our equilibrium high was 47.68.9, and we drew this, before the contract change. It doesn't get any more scientific than that, right? I'm drawing these numbers from previous levels that have been agreed upon in the past. That's it. Previous open, high, low closes. That's it. No fucking ifs, ands, thetas, deltas, magic potions, and glass slippers, right? Just very simple explanations can really keep you on sides and give you viable targets for your trading. Switching over here to the profiles now, we had an inside day on Friday, right? And so we pump up the profiles here. You can see big up day, big kind of P shape here. And then on Friday is interesting. We get this P shape, And then you get a liquidation down into this B shape. And so P shape couldn't find any buyers, so they decided to liquidate. Couldn't find any sellers, and so they had to cover the shorts. We came all the way back to the high and then settled basically back in this low. And so a key thing that we're going to be paying attention to today, or that I'll be paying attention to, is this larger distribution, or kind of this larger value area. And you can see we're trading above it right now. But you have a weak spot. You can see on the larger volume profile, we have this weak spot over here. You have this distribution, right? Real weak volume in here, not a lot of trading that happened in there. And then you start to get in that balance and that breakout from balance down there with a bunch of VPOCs. And so that will be key to, honestly, like if the market stays above this 47.44, break below that 47.44, starts to get into this dead zone and can really cause some liquidation, I think. So today, what we're looking for, as we're getting overnight volume 100% net long, right? Settle was 47.68. That's also that +4 on the weekly. We're looking to see if there's going to be a correction of overnight inventory. Ideal situation, we get that correction. It trades right to the value area high. Play number one sets up. Buyers start to show up. And the market catches a bid around 78, 77, right? Which we've seen be a key level in these past 2 days. And we catch the long from there up to 86 and into this excess up towards that 90. And then can look to continue towards that all-time high, 48. Break below this overnight point of control, I'm going to be looking for this area 71, right? It's kind of the weak spot on Friday. You kind of have almost a double distribution kind of look from Friday. If you want to be a little bit more patient, what I would do is wait till that settle. They catch a bid above that settle, and then look to take it back to the value area high. And you can look to keep that against the value area low, which also happens to be the T2 high. So you're risking about 5-ish points here, and you're looking for about 10. So a nice 2-to-1 setup there. And if you get continuation, right, try to ride it up to that value high. Remember, you're still an inside day, so it'd be advantageous to kind of combine these profiles, like I said. And if you want to, use this level down here, 62, you've got 67. We've seen 68 be a big area. So you've had 78 and 68 kind of be your big area. See, most of the volume is down here. I'm kind of leaning towards, I don't want to see it get down here. And my reason being is I just want to see continuation in this upper distribution. I'd like to see the buyers that held on Friday to step up, continue buying, and get that continuation. So I'm more looking towards that 75 level. But other than that, that's the plan today. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you're managing risk, sticking to your trade plan.